All right, all right, all right. Welcome to Coffee Tea. You and me, ladies and gentlemen. This is Coach Powell. Every week, you know me. We know what we do. We come together. We get together with entrepreneurs, business leaders of all types, helping them get their act together and do the right things, do the smart things, do the things that are going to make them progress and bring their business forward. Today, I have to tell you, I got a super special guest coach that's going to be coming in live with you guys in a couple of minutes. Miss Lori Smith is going to be showing you exactly how it's done. She is one of the best of the best. As you know, I always bring the best to the table, and she's going to be here sharing some of her brilliance with us a little bit later on. Ladies and gentlemen, I see her backstage, and she's going to be able to tell us a little bit more about herself, how she's coming to business, and all that kind of good stuff. So look forward, get yourself logged in. If you haven't already, liked us, shared us, give us a thumbs up, do whatever you need to do on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, and we're broadcasting live at all those different platforms and all those different places. So make sure that you do that. By the way, if you're watching this broadcast, know that whatever platform you're watching from, this session is going to be shared on that platform. So you can always go back and watch previous weeks. In fact, I highly encourage you to do that because we are doing an ongoing continuation series that we started 2 weeks ago about developing a hero council for yourself. It doesn't matter if you're in business or if you're in your career, no matter what you need to do to move yourself forward, you're going to need people who may be more talented than you, maybe smarter than you, maybe have more expertise than you to help propel you to greater and even greater success. And I absolutely believe that if you learn how to harness and embrace the power of others, that is going to get you into some great spaces and some great places for your life and in your business. And it can protect you from a lot of drama that you seriously don't have to have. I mean, nobody signed up for anything to have a lot of pain, suffering, and anguish in their lives. Speaking of, if you haven't already gotten your app, that is going to be this October 27th and 28th. Friday night is going to be a special night just for the VIPs, and our special guests will be coming through Friday night. All this is going to be virtual, but on Saturdays when we have the real conference, when all the good stuff is happening. So we have plenty of speakers coming through talking about the issues of the day, the things that the macro level things that small businesses and entrepreneurs and professional career development experts need to keep in mind when it comes to their lives and moving forward, right? We all have to think about what those political things might be that might derail our process and our progress. What economic things are out there that are issues that we have to deal with? What social issues that might be coming up that we have to figure out how to work our way around and through? The technological issues that are keeping us at bay and making sure that, you know, we stay in a certain place, right? The legal issues that might come up, or we have to worry about the laws passing and the changes and that kind of good stuff. And then finally, there's the ecosystem challenges that we all have to deal with. That's what we talk about the Leverage Up Conference, because the whole goal is for you to meet experts and meet people who are doing the thing, who are really out there and have a lot of experience and talent that they can bring to the table to help you so that you figure out how to create some leverage with them and create opportunities that you can create through them and through the connections with them and through opportunities with them. So if you haven't gotten your ticket yet to the Leverage Up Conference, it's in the chat right now. If you want to look at the comment section, you should be able to read it from the comment section. If you're watching on LinkedIn, LinkedIn doesn't allow comments to come through on the channel like that, but I will repost to the LinkedIn section your ticket information. Right now, the tickets are inexpensive, very easy to get your hands on. And by the way, if you desperately need a scholarship because you can't afford the ticket price, everything you need to do is right there. You can call me. You can get in touch with me. I'm going to put my banner going across the screen right now. That's all my contact information. So you can call us and we can make sure that you get a ticket to this event. We've got quite a few tickets available because of our sponsorships. We've got some tickets that we can give out to some members of the community. So definitely hit me up. Talk to me about this. If you need a ticket, we can get you a ticket if you can't afford the ticket price. Okay, because we don't want this to be cumbersome or difficult for anybody to wrap their mind around and get to. All right, I'm going to go ahead and introduce one of our current panelists right now that's working with me, and I think she's going to be, I know, in fact, she's going to be a phenomenal addition to the Coach Powell platform and all the good things that we get to do. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Lori Smith, she's going to be coming out. She's going to tell us a little bit about herself. And I can already tell you, anybody I invite on the show is already high quality, fantastic. And so I'm going to tell you that's the case right now. Lori, welcome to the stage. Welcome to Coffee Tea, You and Me with Coach Powell.
Well, thank you so much. I'm delighted to be here with you on this afternoon to have some coffee and tea. So I'm very excited. And I really like the idea and everything that you are doing when we were talking about developing a business advisory council or a hero council. I think that the concept is phenomenal, and I'm all about sewing into our communities so that we can evolve and grow in our individual endeavors. So I'm very happy to be here. So thank you for inviting me and allowing me to join you.
Lori, tell us all about your business, what you're into, what's new and exciting on the horizon for you.
Okay, well, I am the CEO and founder of Accuelegant LLC. We are a federal government contracting, consulting, coaching, and mentorship and advisory business. I started my business actually in 2020 as I was approaching retirement from federal service. I retired from federal service after 41 years in December of 2020. And of course, COVID and familiar medical issues plagued the family. And so you do what you have to do to pivot and adjust. It don't slow you down. What you have to do is just be mindful of your space. And so with Accuelegant, I've utilized this time in between to really cultivate and grow me, because coming from federal service, my blessing was I was content with my station in life. There was no need to rush through anything. And I wanted to make that transition absolutely to a place where it works and it was authentic. And so a lot of great things have happened as a result of that. In addition to being the CEO of Accuelegant, I'm also the senior facilitator for Career Gateway Acquisition, which is a position I have with Management Concept. And so after retiring from government as a contracting officer, now I get an opportunity to sow into the lives of those new to government to help with their development and growth so that they'll be much more efficient earlier rather than later. So Accuelegant, we've had a lot of great opportunities recently, and I have been able to work with some clients and had some success with those clients. But I also have work with persons that have just been available. And sometimes that's what it's about as well, is availing yourself with this information and with the knowledge, understanding and being mindful that in its due season, you will reap the rewards and the benefits of what you put down. So that is happening for me now. I'm very excited about quite a few efforts and endeavors we have on the horizons. And I'm just here really to serve. And so and doing it from an authentic and pure place, trying to make sure, especially women of color, my mission is to make sure Black women, as well as other women of color, as well as minority-owned businesses, really learn how to do government contracting right. We can only leverage and move the needle if we come to the table properly. So what you typically what you won't hear from me is I'm going to help you get rich quick. I'm going to teach you how to do it fast, and we're going to cheat and do all that kind of stuff. That's not part of my narrative. But I mean, with some due diligence, man, we can learn this stuff and learn it right, where it's not about the win, it's about sustainment. So can I get you to be able to show up every time? But if I educate myself, if I cultivate, if I learn what it is I'm supposed to know that they are required to do, now I can navigate conversations. And so, and then also being mindful where we learn how to read the room and know them statistics, because they throw them out there to us like they're really doing something. But hey, they're not. they're not. And so let's be mindful of that and be okay and let them play, but let us get ready to come to the table and eat so that we can leave full, because that's what I'm about. So again, thank you for this opportunity. I don't know what all you wanted to hear today, but I told you I'm following your lead. So hey, I'm here for it. So let's go. Let's
oh
eat.
My God. Fantastic, Lori. You are just a driver and a mover of many things here in the government contracting space. And it's so good to have you out there for the sisters. Trust me, The help is needed. The help is appreciated. You know, a lot of people have problems with people who focus their energy on a specific target market. And I would say that's crazy because, you know, people, first of all, they need that focus. The people who get that focus and attention, they need it. Second of all, it trickles down to everyone. And so when any of us do good, all of us.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. And you,
Are really, really traumatic. They really have a traumatic impact on what can happen. And you have a dramatic impact, I should say, on what can happen for so many people. So thank you so much for being on the show. I'm going to put you backstage now. I know we're having some internet connections, things going in and out, but the show continues to move forward no matter what happens to the internet connection. And when we go back to look back at the recording, you won't see any of that scrolling or anything like that that's going on. So just ignore it to the best of your ability. Good to see you, Lori, and I'm hoping that I know we're going to have a great show today. All right, so Lori's backstage now. So let's talk about what we're going to talk about. Today, we're going to talk about leveraging and creating your personal hero council. Why is this important? Today, over the series of weeks, we've been talking about how to use your hero council, right? First of all, how to develop it, what can it do for you in terms of your business development. That's what we talked about last week and the last couple of weeks. Today, we're going to talk about how do we use it to create the strategy that's going to move you forward. Now, why is that important? Strategy is everything when it comes to creating opportunity for yourself, for your business, and your career. If you have the right strategy and that you can execute that strategy well, not necessarily flawlessly, but well, you're going to find that you reap tremendous results and a tremendous amount of success over people who just try to shoot from the hip, take it as it comes, go with what you know, blah, 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 blah. You know, those kinds of thoughts and efforts really is not helpful for you. Now, why is having a strategy so important? Having a strategy is so important simply because, you know, it's always been the case in every situation, in every leadership opportunity. Those who have the best strategies tend to win most often. I want you to think for a second about Nick Fury, that famous Marvel character who doesn't have any superpowers of his own, but what he is able to do is assemble the greatest team of heroes that the world has ever seen, right? The whole deal with creating a team of heroes is that they can help you do the thing that you're trying to do. In Nick Fury's case, he's trying to make sure that the world is being kept safe. What are you trying to do? And the ability to understand what you're literally trying to do, even though it might be quite impossible to do on your own, nothing is impossible with the right team, the right strategy, the right processes, the right group, so to speak, in your favor. Ralph Lauren, who is the great Ralph Lauren, who always says this: a leader has the vision and conviction that a dream can be achieved. He inspires the power and energy to get it done. A leader has the vision and conviction that a dream can be achieved. He inspires the power and energy to get it done. Now, if you don't have a vision, if you're not convicted, if you're not careful about, how you commit to it, right? Is it possible for you to inspire the power and the energy to get it done? Because you're going to need that same level of vision and conviction to put together your strategy council. You're going to need to that same level of power and empowerment in order to put that together. And it's possible for all of us. It's a true leader. A true leader is the one who inspires and empowers people. And they provide their colleagues and their associates with the dynamism and the vitality that is needed to get them moving in the right direction. You have to be able to marshal and maintain these kinds of resources to strengthen the people that you have to strengthen. You have to strengthen them in their weaker areas, and you have to promote their strengths and abilities. This takes a lot of energy, a lot of effort, and a lot out of you. Inspire others, who's able to pull people together, who's able to literally get the most out of your teams, You might be that kind of leader. But who in fact is doing those same things for you? Who are the people that are pouring into you? Who are the people that help you put that lonely crown on your head, that crown of leadership, right? Who are the people that you can count on to help you pull together the right kinds of resources, the right kinds of strategy, the right kinds of technique to get you to where you want to go? I love that old saying that it ain't what you do, it's the way that you do it. But the way that you do it is informed greatly by who you do it with and who you bring along with you and who's on your team, right? Who are the people that you take counsel with? Who are the people that you develop your teams with? There's a quick story I'm going to tell you, then we'll get right into the issue of the moment. There's a client I worked with years ago. Her name is Jan. She was about 32 years old at the time, and she had a firm. She was really working with a high quality medical firm, and she was the managing partner. Her job was to literally bring the team forward. But she found that although she'd been in the job for 5 years, she had a hard time just basically treading water and keeping things going. I mean, the business itself was barely making money. It was barely breaking through in terms of the techniques and the quality of the work that they were doing. They were just hanging on, treading water, doing the thing that they were doing at a high level, but still not moving forward, not growing, not progressing, not creating that next level of success that, you know, everybody looks for. Well, with the help of yours truly, Jan decided that what she wanted to do was to develop an advisory council for the firm. I thought that was a great idea. So we started working on it. We together selected a diverse group of professionals that had the experience in healthcare, finance, marketing, technology, and the council included some retired hospital administrator, a seasoned financial analyst, and a digital marketing expert, as well as a health tech entrepreneur. By the time the advisory council had, really got kicked up and running, it started to immediately conduct a thorough analysis of the business operations, really looking at the different areas that were inefficient in scheduling and the online presence. And they started to make some really big moves early to help the team get those things back together. With the council's guidance, Jan was able to implement a new billing software, streamline the invoicing process. The scheduling process was revamped. They had a user-friendly website. They created higher leverage with social media, and they attracted tons of new patients. The health tech entrepreneur, almost literally by himself, analyzed all the patient data, identified the patterns and trends that were previously overlooked, and allowed Jan's firm to better anticipate the patient needs and adjust their services accordingly. But the council didn't stop there. They began to literally transform and monitor the marketing trends and advise Jan on the strategic decisions that had to happen. When telemedicine started gaining popularity, the council recommended incorporating virtual consultation into their services. This not only increased their reach, but also provided a convenient option for their patients. And thanks to the advisory council, Jan transformed her struggling medical firm into a thriving practice. She no longer felt overworked, and the processes were more efficient. The firm's profitability increased dramatically, and due to improved operations and strategic decisions, the market trends were going in all of Jan's favor. She was experiencing tremendous success in ways that she could not have predicted, could not have understood, could not have done without the benefit of an advisory council. The big takeaway here for all of you all, I hope you're listening and paying attention, is the need for a comprehensive and detailed strategy that is bigger than you might be able to come up with and deal with by yourself. And then we found in the research that we looked into, there were about 5 or 6 areas that are super, super important you got to think about for strategic development and how your advisory council can help you. Number one, your advisory council can help you, most importantly, with diverse perspectives. It can help you open up your mind, open up your vision, be able to see things that you could not see with your own limited view, your own limited target market, your own limited strategy. It really is super important that, you learn to not only make perspectives or share your own perspective on things, but take the perspective of others that you have, well respected or well respected in the industry, well respected in the community, so that you come up with the great kinds of ideas and concepts that you're going to need to run with. The great Richard Borland Jr. suggests that success depends on how effectively the diverse individuals can organize and develop their unique knowledge competencies, as well as how effectively they can integrate and synergistically utilize their distinctive knowledge through a process of perspective taking. The more your team can look at each other and analyze each other and see the data, the perspectives, the ideas, and concepts from one another, and then use those in a synergistic way, the stronger you become. In fact, I believe you become indomitably strong. Basically, you cannot be beat if you have the right team in place. Number 2, expertise and experience. Not only will your team help you with perspective taking, help you with get diverse perspectives, they're going to help lend their expertise and their experience to you. This is invaluable. And it's very, very difficult because, there are a lot of people out there who are so good at what they do, but they're unsung heroes in many ways. They may be contributing to the magazine and the organization. They may be contributing content. They may be doing training. They may be doing all kinds of things in their specific field that largely get unseen by the rest of the population. And therein is your opportunity to help them promote their distinction, their advantages, and their expertise by promoting to your advisory council, popping them up on your website, sharing them and their gifts and talents with the rest of the world, and letting them know that they are on your team, right? All of this lends credibility, expertise, all that kind of stuff. And not only can they help your team elevate the level of expertise they have by participating, right, on your advisory council, they can help you really, really get more credibility in the space. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. The third thing, after you've looked at that, they can develop your market trends and opportunities. Nothing looks at your market the way experts can. They can look at your market and really see things that you can't see. That's the perfect thing about them. They can see the political stuff, the economic stuff, the social stuff, the technical stuff, the legal stuff, the ecological system. They can measure it all, look at it all, understand it all, come back to you with what we call actionable intelligence. Nothing beats actionable intelligence when it comes to information gathering. You want information, but you don't want just any information. You want information that is real, information that's useful, information that's meaningful, relevant, and significant. And your advisory council can give you that information and get that to you in real time about how you can develop your market, whatever trends that are happening in the marketplace. You're going to be on top of all that stuff. And that's going to help you do the fourth thing, which is mitigate the risk. Know that there are going to be risks. There are no risks. There's no growth without any risk. And so understanding what the risk might be, understanding how those things might affect you, whether it's a political turmoil with China that ends up, creating a backlash in the semiconductor supply chain that ends up costing us more money, end up costing us, everything we want to do electronic now costs more. Electronic equipment now costs more money because of that. We're still working through issues of that backlog and issues of the relationship with China. In fact, America has decided, and our president has decided, we can no longer be dependent on another country for one of the most valuable commodities in the world, which is semiconductors. So we have to come back and reinvent the semiconductor industry in the U.S., which they're doing from the ground up. But guess what? They need talent. They need people. They need advisors. They need people who are going to be able to help them figure out how to do this. And there's a whole team of experts that are reporting right now to the U.S. Commerce Department, and all of the scientific and development organizations are all figuring out how we're going to take semiconductors back, how we're going to process them here in America, create them here in America, and create a supply chain from our own resources. That's super powerful. But that became a need because we did manage that risk like we should have 20, 30 years ago when we gave up the semiconductor industry and gave it over to other parts of the world, right? So think about that. What risks are your business taking, and how can others help you understand those risks better and mitigate those risks? Because had we done what we needed to do about the American supply chain earlier, we would never had the backlog. We might not be dealing with the inflationary economy that we're dealing with right now. It may not be causing people to not be able to afford their homes or not be able to move forward in their business ideas and so on and so forth. And that's the real cost of when we have these kinds of major issues, economic issues, hurricanes, and different types of situations that affect us on a macro scale, don't have to affect each of us on a micro scale if we're prepared. And that's something that we have to learn how to deal with the risk. The fifth thing that having an advisory council helps you with in terms of strategy is your networking strategy becomes much more streamlined, much more focused, much more developed, and that you're able to develop trust and you're able to develop connections with real people that can help you advance your business and advance your ideas fairly quickly. We have a coach on here today who's been in the procurement space in the federal government. Do you need to have somebody like that in your business? I promise you, if you're a federal government contractor, you probably should have a person like that on your advisory council who could come through and teach you the ways of what the procurement world is like, and what the new rules are going to be, and what the things are going to happen out there. But your networking at that level is not networking in general, it's networking specific, right? It's networking to people that can actually get you in front of problems that for a fact you will have, right? You don't want to network and just be networking for the sake of networking. You want to network, you want to be specific, because who has the capacity or the time to throw away on people that are not going to be relevant for you in your business? And that's not doing yourself a favor. It's not doing anybody any favors, but spending time and wasting time with people who can't help you and you can't help them. That's not really useful. But when you are focused and strategic about how you use your time, you're going to find out that you come up with the goods more often than you don't when it comes to networking and strategy. The last thing a good advisory council is going to do for you in terms of your strategy is they're going to validate your ideas. Let me say this again so I make sure you hear me. They're going to validate your ideas. No matter what you're doing, having strong, intelligent, powerful, diverse community of friends and associates who are willing to lend you their talent, their time, their treasure, and their trust. These people are going to help you feel good about what you're doing. Even the risks that you're taking are much easier. It's much easier done when you have a team of people that are going to support you, that you're going to be able to look back and fall back into their loving arms and go, hey, am I doing this right? Is this looking good? What do you think about this? And they can give you the thumbs up, and they can give you the attaboys, and they can give you the way to goes, and they can help you, build up your confidence and boost your confidence so that you show up in the marketplace with the level of credibility that you deserve to show up in the marketplace with. I cannot stress this enough. I've said this on many, many occasions. When people see you showing up with your confidence, they assume competence. They begin to trust you at a whole different level. When you walk into a financial organization, a bank, or whatever, whoever you're negotiating with, and you have at your back a team of ready, competent professionals that people can count on, they can see the delivery and the results that they're able to achieve, they have to trust you. It's almost impossible to hardwire that. I want you to think about that. Nick Fury walks into the office and he has Superman, Aquaman, Batman, Wonder Woman, whoever else he has. I'm confusing the Marvel universe and the DC universe, but you get my point. He has all these great heroes and standing behind him. Who's going to say no? Who's going to say, no, you don't have what it takes to fight this war? You don't have what it takes to help us win? Of course you do. That's the power of your advisory council. They help you validate your ideas. So I'm going to run through the list really quickly one more time, and then Lori and I are going to chop it up. 1, you get to have diverse perspectives when you work with an advisory council. 2, you get to have their expertise and their experience in terms of putting together your strategy. 3, they can help you capitalize on market trends and opportunities like no one else. 4, you're going to be able to have the best risk management protocols and processes in place. 5, you're going to be able to network at an extremely high level, very focused and very detailed, so you can get the things done that you want to get done. And finally, 6, you're going to have your ideas be validated and supported in a way that's going to create meaning and relevance in the space that you're in. This is the benefit of having the strategy, the strategic relationships with your advisory council that you need to have so that you can move forward. Next week, we're going to talk about this outside perspective concept and why it's so important. Now, I need you to understand all the stuff that I share with you, all stuff that I will share with you, deeply researched and deeply detailed. I'm conducting a study on this, which is going to include a lot of information that I get from myself, a lot of information I get from other players in the community, and as well as some of the Harvard Business Review and a lot of other business research opportunities that I use. And one of the things we're going to do as we bring Lori on the stage is talk about how we leverage these resources and how we move them forward. Lori, what'd you think? Give me your opinion about what some of the things we shared. If you have any stories you want to tell, go ahead and help yourself.
Well, actually, you were spot on. Once they have determined and identified the benefit and the need of an advisory council, and then even its purpose. And so, again, I wasn't here for your previous lesson, so I'm hoping and sure and confident that that's something you address as well. But once you've identified, hey, this is the purpose, and I know what my purpose is, and I pinpoint and identify the people that I even want to be a part of the council, and I've approached those people, because sometimes we have not because we ask not. And then don't be afraid to ask for and look for the people you know that's going to give you value. And guess what? That may not be Uncle Joe. And guess what? It's okay. And so when you are mindful of that and you have folks that's going to bring value to you, because just as you want to be a value-added reseller, a value-added resource to the government when you're pursuing contracts, or even in commercial industry, you want that same value to come back to you. So identify even mentors or heroes that is going to give you exactly what you need. You don't need friends. You need experts. You need someone that's already done it. Look for the success story. So if that's the success story, that's what you bring on. And guess what? It's okay. But you are absolutely right. If nothing else, the diversity of their expertise, those perspectives, because my hope is that when we create these councils, because I'm developing mine, when you create these councils, you are bringing in people, again, who have diverse perspective. Granted, every day we wake up, there may not be somebody speaking well of you. Guess what? That's okay. If nothing else, you know you're on your way to heaven because
Amen.
So it's like, because everybody is supposed to speak well of you. That's all right. But when you have this diversity and these experts, take advantage of it. In recent weeks, as is days, I've had different persons of all cultures, races, or whatever that have reached out to me over time. I have folks that are mindful of who I am. And periodically they engage, they reach out, they offer their support. And when they come, sometimes I had a gentleman the other day, we set up a meeting to meet. He said, Lori, he said, I guess I came across your profile again. I don't know why I reached out to you again. And I was like, oh, I did change the picture, a different wig. Yeah, I said, new hair. I said, that happens sometime. I said, I'm going to come to you different real soon. So you be reaching out again.
Right.
It's like, what's different now? But it's about to really blow up. And so, but in the discussion, he's mindful. I know who you are. I know what you can do. And although my mission and goal is to help, minorities get to where we want to be so that the numbers be real, I am available and accessible to all. And when I'm talking to large businesses and corporate people and they engage me, I'm letting them know, hey, this is what I'm about. Can you help me with that? Because again, if diversity and equity inclusion is who you really say you are, you want to be a part, okay, I can be that conduit so that, what you say is true, because I'm trying to just help everybody I'm trying to give everybody top covering. Let's make these lines true. This is how we can do it. But, he made some recommendations, followed up those recommendations, made some connections for me. Didn't ask him to do it, but he has been monitoring and observing me. So now I know I'm being watched. And so where he's able to do, he has sown into me with a valuable connection. Because when you talk about networking, again, let's quit showing up just to be ringing a doorbell. Make it worth your while.
Right.
What is my purpose? So be purposeful in it. So that networking that a Heroes Council can bring, man, now you're leveraging their resources.
Right.
And to your point, when they validate what it is that you desire to do and your goal and your dreams and your aspirations, now when they hear things as they're strategically helping you redefine that plan and those goals, now they can go leverage their own connectivity. Now you're ready for this source. So I want you to meet this person, and they will introduce you. And they're going to do that once they have determined, one, you are true about your own dream. You're mindful that, hey, I got to work this thing in order for it to be successful for me.
I gotta stop you, Lori. I gotta stop you for just a second, Lori, because I gotta reiterate something that you said. I want people to understand how super powerful this is. When you know who you are, what you bring to the table, and what you are trying to do, it is so easy to get people who are smarter than you, wealthier than you, more connected with you to trust you. But when you don't, when you're floundering around like, I don't think I'm gonna try this and I don't think I'm gonna try that, like, I can't tell you how many government contractors I know specifically who think that it's valuable to list 1,000 different SIC codes in their capability statements. For those of you who don't know what those are standard industry classification codes that will give to a contractor for them to understand, here's what they can depend on you for. You cannot be dependable to do 30 things well unless you are, one of the larger government contractors that are out there. You're not going to be credible to say, I can do all 40 of these SIC codes, no matter what they are. I can do, what I can do transportation, I can do communication, I can do electronics, I can do blah, 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 blah. You can't do all that. Now, however, when you have that advisory council at your back that we talked about earlier, you have your own superhero council, all of a sudden it looks like you just might be able to do all that stuff that you say that you can do, right? And that gives you more credibility, more clout, more power. But you got to be focused, because when you're focused about what you're trying to do, like-minded people are going to come to you. They're going to be easier to talk to. It's going to help you, say, okay, this is what I'm about. This is what I'm trying to accomplish. How can you help me? Just answer the question. Ask the question. Don't be afraid to ask that question. You'd be surprised. People don't want to run around the bush with you. They want to get right to the point. They want to get right to whatever, because they don't have the time either. And so why waste their time going on, oh, I'm thinking about this and maybe we want to do this. And what do you think? Come on now. If you tell me this is where you want to go, I'm going to help you figure out how to get there. But if you tell me I'm just trying to figure out and see what all my options are, I don't have time for that. Nobody does. You got to do that homework on your own. You got to figure out who you are, why you're here, and what you're trying to do on your own. Your purpose needs to lead you. Now, I know Lori's with me on this one. The Bible says your gifts will make room for you. Mm-hmm. Understand what that means. That means if you are talented at what you are doing, it is your job to exploit that talent to the biggest maximum impact you could possibly make. And guess what will happen? All kinds of other stuff will start coming to you. Opportunities will start coming to you. Space and time to do the things you're trying to do will start to come to you. But you have got to give it your all and focus on it. A lot of people have excuses as to why they don't want to develop an advisory council. And one of the things that Lori hit on is huge. When you don't have a clear purpose and a clear direction, it's really difficult to get other people to run with you. Mm-hmm. But when you do have that clarity of purpose and direction, people, even people look at you and go, I don't know how you're going to do that without my help. All of a sudden now they want to help you. Because they can't see you getting it done, but they see where you want to go and they want to be part of that success. So don't be scared to share, what it is you're trying to go for. A lot of times people want to hold their ideas so close to their chest. They want non-disclosure agreements and all that kind of stuff. And that's important to a certain degree. But at some point you have to show that you trust somebody enough to at least tell them what you're trying to do. Because if you want them to trust you, this is a reciprocal thing. They're not going to trust you if you don't trust them. Yeah. Why would anybody trust you if you don't trust them? Anyway, do you have any other thoughts you want to throw in there, Lori?
And what I actually want to say, as it relates to as you're developing and growing, be okay with making sure you are doing it right. Failure is a great way to develop and grow, but there's no need for you to rush to it. Take your time. Like I said earlier, as I introduced myself, I retired in December 2020. I decided to go ahead and transition to my own business in February at that time. COVID hit. My mother-in-law fell ill. We eventually lost my mother-in-law. My husband fell ill. He's great and healthy right now. My sister was found deceased in a home. Thing after thing after thing hit. I even had COVID myself. But in the midst of it all, what I've always had for years was the dream and the desire of who I was, and just knew who I was and knew what I was capable of doing. And the only reason I did not venture to a business earlier was because, as my mother's one of her children, my desire for her was always to make sure her latter years were her greatest years. I can do that being more secure and having that resource to do that. And I did that up until she transitioned this world in 2018. I didn't rush to business then because I was working Department of Veterans Affairs on a community care network portfolio, standing that up. So all of you vets getting your health care right now. Yes, we got some serious accessibility. Yeah, thank you, girl, every now and then. Because me and my crew helped stand that up. And, and I'm proud of that. That's an accomplishment, but it was like meaningful work. And what I wasn't going to do, not that I thought was the only one that could do it. No, it was a complex problem. Why leave it to my team? Because you talked about something else earlier about having leadership skills and those different abilities. I mean, it's how you grow and cultivate yourself. I tell people my natural and spiritual gifts are the same. Hospitality, helps, and service. I've had folks for years that would come and try to say, oh, Lori, I've had people of color tell me, oh, you always trying to help. You're always trying to do that. Get out of that servitude mindset and all that. No, that's who I am. And guess what? It's all right to be that. Because when people know that you are willing to roll up sleeves, like to your point, when they see, look, you're willing to get into your stuff and even come out and help someone else, hey, they're going to be there for you all the more. So as we pursue our endeavors, we can only build legacy. We can only build family. We can only build a history. We can only create wealth if we legitimately and earnestly work together.
Now, period. I'm going to post Lori's stuff online here for you guys. You guys got to just check out her LinkedIn profile. I'm telling you, she's a rock star. I know she's a rock star. You need to pay attention to her. What she's talking about is the real deal. And she can help a lot of us who are thinking I'll post something. That's what happens to my. I get it now. Every time I post something, my internet connection goes a little wacky. Okay. But we're fine.
We're all back time with you.
Yeah, it's actually going to come out on the recording, which is kind of funny, but it's crazy like that. But guys, I hope you had a great time. I know I had a great time. Lori, I'm going to put you backstage, but I want you to hang out because you and I got to talk. We haven't had a chance.
Okay, absolutely. Thank you so much. I did have a great time. This was awesome. Thank you so much.
And I posted your LinkedIn profile out there. If there's anything else you want me to post, definitely put that in the private chat over there, and I'll definitely post it so that people can see it and everything that they do. Make sense, Lori?
Oh, absolutely.
All right. Have a good one. All right. That was Miss Lori Smith. I told you she was a superstar. This is what we do. Every Friday, we get together with entrepreneurs, business leaders. We help you rethink and think correctly about the ways you go about structuring and dealing with your business. Leveraging the talent that you have available to you is incredibly important. Understand, just like Lori said, your uncle might not be the person you want on your advisory council, but he might know the person that you want on your advisory council. You have to be ready with not just your purpose and your talent and your abilities, but what are you looking for your advisory council to do for you? You have to have an idea of what that is. It would be smart for you to write down, what you'd like to see them do for you. There are millions of things that they can do for you. We're going to talk to you later on next week about how they can open up your perspective. We're going to take a deep dive into why that's important, because your perspective is just one of a billion perspectives out there, and you need to know how to make sure that you can take the perspectives of others in a really meaningful and powerful way. That's what we'll talk about next week. Guys, this has been Coffee Tea, you and me. We've been at this for a little over 40 minutes. I enjoy hanging out with you. Hope you all had a good time. Thanks for all of you all who signed on and participated. We started out with like 30 people signed online, so that was a great thing. Good to see you all. Great to reach out. Next week, we're going to keep the party going, and you all have a great evening.